I'm Thompson and I'm the founder of Hawkins Shepherd shirts. For me, an entrepreneur is thrown around a lot. The word entrepreneur, it seems to be when someone starts a business, you seem to be tagged as an entrepreneur, and I think that's wrong. I think to be an entrepreneur you need to have been in business, you need to have had the failures, had the successes, you need to have ultimately you need to be successful. Even I wouldn't consider myself as an entrepreneur. I could consider myself as a founder, a business person, just someone who wants to try and, you know, make my life a lot better in terms of my lifestyle, and what I do on a daily basis. What did I want to be when I was a child? I certainly didn't want to be designing and selling shirts. You know, your career just evolves. I guess back then I really wanted to be anything to do with PE, like a PE teacher or teaching people something. So I mean, my previous background, I was working in a commodities trading company in West End, and I was heading up the global network team. So it's like very IT, very technical, and the hours were such long hours. I mean, it was not uncommon to be doing 48 hours non-stop. It was a crazy time, but I absolutely loved it. I love the hours you put in. I'm a real grafter. You know, at school I was a good guy and I was relatively academic, but I'm a grafter. I put in the hours. I do what it takes to succeed. It come to the time after 12 years I just thought, well, actually I'm going to do something different. And I've always been into fashion. I've always been, especially the formal wear, so the office wear and the more dapper look and that side of things, rather than your kind of street look. So coming from like an office environment throughout my whole period of time, in my work period of time, I've got an idea of what people like to wear in the office. And so what I did around sort of 2012 is I tested the market. So I used to, the shirts that I used to get them tailored in Savile Row, like the pin collar shirt, tab collar shirt, because you didn't see them in London back in 2012 at all. So I used to get them tailored in Savile Row, then I'd wear them into the office and I'd note what people say about them. And there was so many times I went into the office and walked along Oxford Street and I got stopped. Oh, mate, where'd you get your shirt from? Where'd you get your shirt from? And at the time, you could not buy pin collar shirts on the high street. You had to get them tailored. So this was the idea, and then it merged, and I started seeing these, you know, 1920s-esque films come out, like The Great Gatsby and like Boardwalk Empire, and I kind of, at the time, it was all of this was happening, and I kind of plateaued in my previous career. And it was like, do you know what? I'm gonna do this. And I just went out there and I handed my notice in, and I just went and did it. I mean, it really wasn't that difficult, and I never look back, and I never ever regret that decision. Very much right. I've made my mind up, and then that was it. I've gone and I've changed careers completely from IT to fashion, and in certain respects, the two careers are very similar. You know, I'm working. You know, I said about the 48 hours. Well, actually, I'm working continuously. I'm dreaming about shirts. I'm dreaming about fabrics. I'm dreaming about like where the cotton's picked and just weird stuff like this. You just can't turn off when it's your own business. So yeah, so I'm not doing less hours, but I'm enjoying it much more now. The biggest obstacle is yet to come, definitely. So I haven't really encountered any major obstacles in terms of like when I started the business to now. You make tiny mistakes, and do you know what? If you haven't made mistakes, or you're sitting in this position and you're saying actually everything's gone perfect, you're lying. And also you're going to make the mistakes when they matter. Whereas when you're setting up the business, if you make small mistakes, you're going to learn from them. You know, I've picked fabrics for my shirts, and they've come out, and I know straight away, okay, there's a mistake, and you learn from it, and you learn from your customers' habits. But the biggest hurdle is certainly yet to come. The biggest hurdle I see is getting buyers. So I've got good product, I've got superb branding, and I've got a story. You know, I'm passionate about this business. I feel menswear in general in the UK needs more people like myself setting up small, unique brands, because you know, other than t-shirt brands, there's been very few that have sort of made it, and I certainly haven't, but there needs to be more, because we are catching up with women's wear, and with London Collections Men is always gaining on London Fashion Week for women, you know. So what I see, again, what I see as a hurdle is the buyers and getting into stores. Like I said, I've got a good product, I've got everything there in place, but I just need to get in front of the correct buyers. I rely heavily on family and friends. I know, again, it's very cliche, but I surround myself with, I've got such a great close-knit group of friends, and if I ever have any issues with the business or want an honest opinion, and which you do, you go to these people. And also, weird, right, I had this little French bulldog named Charlie. He's awesome little dog, and he's like my alarm clock. So he gets me up in the morning. He kind of like, I look at him and I'm like, right, I must work, because I've got to feed this dog, and it's weird because it's not a child or anything, but it's a responsibility. And he kind of inspires me a little bit, weirdly. I mean, if you've got an idea and you've researched it, and it's an idea that could be profitable, and you're going to enjoy doing, then go for it. Do you know, it's the best thing I've ever done. It's just so many people talk about it and they do nothing about it, and they're sitting in that job and they're getting there at 9 till 5, and they get home and you say to them, oh, how's your day been? You know, have you had a really good day? And they're just like, oh, it's been horrendous. I've had such a crap time at work. And they've got this little idea that they really want to pursue, but they don't. And I'd say just so long as you've done your research and you've got your figures and you've got the idea in place, well, then go for it, because you can always go back to a career that you've previously done. Hawkins is my mother's maiden name, so Hawkins is like just East London, like the whole sort of East London, South East London. So it's very much kind of the London part of the brand, and that's my mother's maiden name. It's mother's side of the family. Then my dad's side of the family. So my dad's mother is from Guyana in the Caribbean, and on South American Caribbean, and her family name is Shepherd. So Hawkins and Shepherd in itself are the two sides of my family kind of merged into one. So it's already got that sort of family feel to it, and I'd just like to leave, however successful, something to future generations of my kids, for example, and give them a head start.